Guys, today I'm just going to walk you through using the percents, fractions, and decimals gizmo. As always, you start by answering the prior knowledge questions just to get you thinking on the topic. And then you move on to the gizmo warm-up, which is what we will do together. So it's got some vocab words in there. Some of you already know, a ratio. Now we've talked this year about 3 different ways we write ratios. But what it does is it compares 2 things by division. And even though we talked about the 3 different ways we can write a ratio, they can also be expressed as a percent, fraction, as you know, and a decimal. So this gizmo, we're going to model fractions, decimals, and percents between 0 and 1. So this grid, you can adjust it by pulling on this arrow, and you will see over here where it tells you the total squares, the dimensions here. So this is a 20 by 6, okay? You can also click on the squares inside, and that will shade in some of the regions or the squares in this area. And then you can click clear, it takes you back to normal. So to begin this gizmo for number 1, it tells you to create a grid that is 5 by 2. So 5 wide, 2 tall. So there's my 5 by 2, okay? And it asks you to shade in 8 squares, and it shows you a picture here to show you what it wants it to look like. So there we go. We've shaded in our 8 squares. So now it says, look at the shaded to total row. So that's right here in this little table underneath in the gizmo. What decimal and percent are modeled? Well, the decimal that's modeled is 0.80, so 80 hundredths. And the percent that's modeled is 80%. Okay? So now we're going to look at the unshaded to the total. So these are the ones, so this one is looking at, it's blue, so it's looking at these bluish or purplish shaded in area. Now the unshaded we're looking at these white squares, the ones that we did not shade in yet, okay? And we're going to write the decimal, 0.20, so 20 hundredths or 2 tenths. And then the percent, which is 20%, okay? So the gizmo gives 2 equivalent. Equivalent means equal fractions, okay? So the fraction column has 2 fractions in it, okay? The simplified, so in this case 4/5, and the unsimplified, in this case in the shaded to total area, is 8/10, okay? So we're going to record them below. Okay, so for the shaded, just so you can see how we fill this in, we have 8/10, oops. And what you would do here is it will pull this up and you'll click on the top, you'll put 8, and then you click on the bottom, you put 10, and then you just click save and close. And so there you go. And so for the next one, you've got here, you've got 4/5, okay? And then for the unshaded, we have 2/10, and then 1/5 would go here. Okay, so this is just a little bit on how the gizmo works, getting you warmed up on it. So now you go on to begin doing activity A. And if we look in this little box at the top, it tells you how to get the gizmo ready. Click clear, it says. Create a grid that is 10 by 10. So you have 100 little squares, okay? And then you can begin. All right, well, I hope this is helpful, and let me know if you have any questions.